Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to be back the same time this week and discussing a bit of The Bachelor Season 25, Episode 3. I think it's 25 anyway. It's
Yep, it is.
first Bachelor for us, isn't it? By God, Chris, we start off with the rose ceremony and it picks up where last week finished off. And we start off, I was very concerned about Sarah in this whole episode tonight. I thought it was very authentic and came across really well. How about you?
Fucking bullshit, Dave. I didn't think we'd be having a Claire. I'm not holding back this week. I've been fully aware of me trying to be a little bit more diplomatic. I'm not holding back. She is, without doubt, the fakest fucking person I've seen in this series anyway. Utter horseshit. The way she went down, Dave, it was worse than a fucking football or soccer player to our American listeners when they do a dive. Oh my God. And then she gets Matt to herself, and all the girls were like, you fucking know exactly what you're doing. Unbelievable. I've never fainted in my life. No, you didn't fucking faint then either, you blagger. You were fucking blagging the arse off that just to get a bit of attention. It's all that, oh, doff is me. Doff as I protest. Oh, woe is me. I need all the attention. Oh, Dave, I tell you what. I didn't think, and we'll talk about our good mate, fucking the Queen soon, but she was on a par for me. What an absolute narcissist this Sarah is, Dave. I'm sorry, she is. It's horrible.
Well, I think I was the one going off on one last week, wasn't I? I think this week it might be.
Me.
Yeah, I can tell the tension, the anger in your voice is properly wound you up there. But I mean, let's come back to Sarah because obviously this is all part of the drama of the rose ceremony. Whether you believe it's authentic or fake, I'm leaving the door open a little bit there, Chris. She gets to spend some extra time with Matt, doesn't she? She sort of, tugs on the heartstrings a bit there. Matt seems very concerned with her. Have a bit of a smooch outside. Meanwhile, like you say, all the girls are like, there is no way she's done that. Utter bullshit. I'm smelling something. But, the way it plays out, obviously they're still building up this needle between Mary Lynn and Victoria. And as I said to you last week, Chris, going into this, if I didn't know that Victoria was on the previews for last week, then I'd be thinking, oh, which way is he going to go here? But as soon as it's down to Mary Lynn and Victoria, it's clear, well, Mary Lynn's going home. So I feel like I was robbed a little bit of that drama. But I went all in on Victoria last week, Chris, and my opinion hasn't changed at all, but I don't want to sound like a broken record. But you've got Mary Lynn there in a kind of quiet little voice going, oh, I don't know, there's some drama with me, and maybe Matt just thinks I'm too much drama. Are you fucking kidding me? And then you got Victoria going, oh, Mary Lynn, she is just toxic. I am the queen.
I know.
Come on. She is a brilliant, brilliant villain at the end of the day, and I can't stand her, Chris. But, I mean, what did you... Oh, and in fact, just before I hand the floor back to you, no sooner has Mary Lynn gone that she's saying, oh, Sarah, she's even worse than Mary Lynn.
Yeah. So I'll say I've got a couple of things to say on that. I think, Dave, that Matt has no interest in Victoria, but the producers have pulled him to one side and said, we need a baddie. We need a baddie. And Victoria is not a nice person inside or outside. She's really, really toxic, proper bully. And they've said to him, look, who are you going to pick? And he's gone, well, he probably wasn't going to pick Mary Lynn, but he knows that he's not got a future with her. So they've gone, look, we need her in because she creates all the fucking shit. And boy, does she create the shit. And I think that's why she stayed. But you're right. The fucking comments that she comes out with, she is so single-minded. She has no understanding of compassion of what she actually inflicts on people. She's always going to be the victim, like she did last week, that she was saying, like, all the girls have been horrible to her. And they're all looking like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's not a nice person, Dave. However, I do think there was a couple of times here. It was definitely a race between her and Sarah for me for pissing me off somewhat rotten because Katie goes on the date then, doesn't she? So we do the rose ceremony. Marilyn goes. Katie goes on the date, and we get this fucking.
Well, you're leaping past a big portion there. So it was the group date, wasn't it? It was the
Oh,
erotic
sorry.
fiction
Yes.
group
Yes.
date, and
Yeah.
so it's not even a single date. So let's not forget, Sarah spent the whole day with Matt,
Yeah.
and then the girls have a group date. So you're always a little bit shortchanged, aren't you? So even if you get to spend time with Matt in the evening, it's just a slice of time that you have to share with all the other girls. And Katie was first up, and that's where Sarah decides to awkwardly muscle in there.
Sorry. Yes. You're right. Sorry, Dave. You're right. Yeah. And what did you think of the group date then, Dave?
Well, I thought, I, in terms of being fake and making stuff up and thinking we are just going to swallow it whole, when Chris
Yeah.
Harrison says, "Oh, Matt, he's feeling like he's not properly easy to let go, so I'm going to curate this date." Fuck off, Chris Harrison. You just want to plug your fucking cheesy trash erotic fiction book. What utter
Fucking
horseshit
amazing.
that was. I mean, I could half buy it. When he said it, I thought, oh no. What I actually thought, Chris, was, oh, Chris Harrison wants a bit of extra screen time here, so he's managed to muscle it
Yeah.
in. But when it got to his book, and I'm like, oh, come on.
I know. Fucking nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. I mean, I love Dave. Look, be honest, right? As a man, the stuff that the girls, and I know obviously, like, ladies will read like 50 Shades and these books worse than that. And Sam's read all them and all that stuff. And I don't understand everyone has different, like men are stimulated visually and stuff like that, and things like that. But when they were talking, I was thinking, I'm not sure anybody's getting out of this. It was just then cringy. And then up steps, what was the girl called before Victoria, Dave? Because she didn't give a shit either. She proper, they were bleeping out loads. And I'm like, no, don't bleep it. I want to know what she said. And then Victoria, as always, she was quite funny, Victoria, because she did say a couple of things like all the hoes you've had before and all the fake
But
women or
why,
bitches,
why,
what
were
she
the,
said.
why were the other girls laughing? It's like, oh, she's calling us all hoes.
Yeah, no, yeah, I did think that, but I did think Victoria for once was quite comical at that point, and that's obviously at her level. But Dave, she is horrible, and is it from there? Then we then get Katie and Matt together. Then after this,
Yeah, so
yeah,
so
yeah,
obviously I didn't bother to really write anything down. Like you say, it was all a bit cringy. I like the ones that were kind of comical. The first up, I can't remember her name. It wasn't Anna. I think it might have been MJ, and she was saying about the fantasy suites and like spending the time there. So I thought some of them were a bit clever, whereas I honestly thought Victoria's was just a bit crass. It was just like beep beep, and we're gonna beep beep. It's like, oh, all right, So yeah, it's there. We get into the bit of Katie time.
and I will say, Dave, as this episode evolved, Katie for me came out looking like the strongest person in that
Yeah,
house. For me, absolutely great what she did. I think initially, because what got me was obviously, like you say, Sarah spent a lot of time with. I nearly call him fucking Dale. It feels like Dale and Claire all over again. I must admit, with Matt. And Matt, he sat there talking, and what I don't understand is like this Sarah comes and she'll start talking, and she goes, "Yeah, but I'm really feeling vulnerable, and and it's like, why the fuck are you whispering? In real life, you would not speak like that, no matter what troubles you got. You wouldn't start going, I would say to you, Dave, I've got a real problem, but I really need to speak to you, Dave, like that. And it's like, oh, fuck off, trying to make it more drama film. But I couldn't understand when she went over to Katie. At first, I thought she's going to tell Matt she's going. So fair enough, you butt in and say, look, I'm really sorry. I've had my journey. I'll bring Katie back in. I just want to say to you, thanks for everything. I'm going. I would have accepted that as thinking, but no, she sits down, puts her fucking pajamas on, grabs a cigar, starts telling him the same load of shit that she was telling him fucking 20 minutes earlier. And Katie was right. I think Katie was a bit immature at first, the way she went over and was like, and then she sat next to them. And all Matt kept saying was, we talked about it before. You know what I said to you before? And he kept saying it. I'm thinking Matt is completely stumped. And I'm going to call Matt out, Dave, because I think the more this goes on, he has been completely coerced by his mate that we got picked up on by one of our listeners a few episodes ago, what to say and what to do. Because as soon as Katie come and that went off script on what he should be saying for the cameras and that, his absolute bottle went, he was panicking and flapping like, and that's when he kept saying to her, oh yes, just think about what we said. And I'm like, well, what did you fucking say? What are you talking about, Matt? So I'm calling him out, Dave, because I think he's becoming across as pretty fake at the moment as well. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe all the bullshit he's peddling. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, there is a Bachelor vocabulary and phrases book, isn't there?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because we're, you see it repeated over again, over and over again. I really I need you to be feeling vulnerable and all this kind of stuff. It is slightly grating, Chris. I don't know if I'm going to come out the other side and it's going to be like, oh, great, he said the line now. But it does feel like you've got the same group of writers, or maybe because people have watched the show so many times before, they think, right, I need to say, this is the stock line that I need to get out of my mental
Yes.
library and say in this moment. But yeah, and I just thought Matt could have been a bit stronger there, to be honest, because he ended up caught in between this really awkward moment. And I saw it exactly the same as you by the sounds of it. When Sarah kind of barges in, it's like she's got something really important to say, but
Yeah.
then she just makes herself comfortable.
Yeah.
So fair play to Katie. I agree. She comes across as the most real kind of, well, yeah, the most real person, the most kind of the person you could empathize with the most. I probably wouldn't have done that myself, where I'm just stood there and she's saying, well, can we just have 5 minutes? How about two? And then
Yeah.
she's just, right, I'm going to stand over here. I didn't see it as immaturity. I thought she was just standing her ground. Like I say, it's not something I'd personally do, but I don't think she did anything wrong there. She was ultimately having time stolen from her. And like I say, if Sarah was going to make this big play and say, right, I'm going to leave, I just wanted to talk to you before I went. I can't be dealing with this whole process. But it's the fact that she just fucking makes herself comfortable that is quite galling. So I say fair play to Katie for calling her out there. But I do think Matt should have, made it clear he's the lead, and he should have said, like, either, look, I just want to have this out with Sarah, or Sarah, look, can we talk about this later? Instead,
Yeah.
he just did nothing
Yeah.
and kind of flapped in the middle.
Yeah, and I think what got my back up when I'm calling Matt out was it was the line, like you've just said, the Bachelor writing fucking anthology of what they should say is when he said to her, I was in a relationship for 4 months and I just knew that I wanted a family and a marriage and she didn't. We needed to put a label on it. And I'm like,
4 months.
fuck off.
4
What a
fucking
load
months,
of
Chris.
shit. What a load of shit, Dave. I'm like, oh, Matt, come on. I know what it is for me, Dave. He's a good looking guy and he's got all the tools that any girl would be proud. So, Sam was watching it the other day and she's like, God, he's got a great body. He's good. I said, he is. You can't knock that. But he's coming across more wooden, I think, Dave. Because I thought Dale was like fucking Ken and Barbie. He was just completely false one. He just got that stupid grin on his face. And literally, I mean, hey, Dave, in fact, Dave, let's talk about that quickly.
Go on.
What's the breaking news, Dave, that we've seen online?
Oh, I
Oh
was going to
my
say
God.
this on the end. I mean,
Oh,
it is only rumor, though, isn't it, Chris? I mean, it is the shock of 2021, which isn't really, shaping up any better than 2020. But all the rumors at the moment are that Claire and Dale have possibly broken up. At least they've been having a fight. They've been tit for tat, deleting comments from each other's posts and things. And yeah, quite frankly, Chris, I'm shocked.
I you delivered that perfectly, Dave. You know what I hate though? These fucking stupid, crappy influencers on Instagram and fucking these fake reality show people, and they put them stupid life quotes that they've dragged off Google, like when you're at your lowest point, things just happen and make you realize that you're more important than that, and you're going to come through and get better. And this is a learning process, and you're going to grow as a person and become out strong on the other side. And that's the sort of shit that they're peddling on Instagram. How many people are buying that
Oh,
fucking bollocks?
it's rife though, isn't it, Chris? I mean,
It is. It is.
I probably don't go on Instagram that much, but fuck, mate, I see it all over the place. All this
Exactly.
utter bollocks. You've just
Yeah.
Googled inspirational
Yeah.
quotes, and
Yeah.
you've thought, this is the person that I'd like to be. So I'm going to put this thing out. I am going to tell all my followers this inspirational message, but you don't fucking live it yourself, and I it does wind me up, and it's funny you should say that. In this moment, because I haven't articulated this to anyone, but I found myself more and more just getting just grumpy with it. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck off! You don't
Yeah.
fucking believe that, and again, it's
Yeah.
just the utter fakeness of it. And I think I'm not sure if it's coincided with watching more of The Bachelor, to be honest, Chris. I'm starting to feel the whole world is just fake, and
We're
it's
getting
just
old,
well,
Dave.
there's a bit of that as well, just being a grumpy old man. But yeah, I'm glad you said that about the inspirational quotes, because it
Oh,
is just such utter horseshit.
it is, and we'll talk at the end actually, because there's a couple of other couples that have recently split up. Dave, we should mention on other shows. So we'll mention that at the end. But anyway, sorry to segue. But I just had to get that out.
I
I
can
was
feel the
like,
excitement in you.
fucking ridiculous. So going back to that is when it all kicked off and Sarah disappeared out of a room, and then just as the cameras are rolling, she's obviously round the corner listening in as they're saying like she's not come down all day, blah blah blah. She comes in and goes, "Can I just squeeze in? Are you okay?" And she's talking in that stupid fucking voice, the little whisper voice, and that's it. All bets were off. I think Victoria, and did you say you said to me before? Is it Anna, Dave, the blonde girl?
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
was Anna. I was just
yeah,
looking at my notes. It was Anna who got up first, I think, with the erotic fiction date. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no. So they went at Sarah, and initially, what they were saying was true because I did laugh at Victoria when she started talking. Victoria looked around at everyone and goes, "Who is she talking to?" And I started laughing. But then it turned sinister. And I do think Victoria and Anna, especially, were a pair of bitches and proper. It turned from them having a great point, shutting your mouth, let Sarah basically dig a hole for herself because it's all about her, those stupid doe eyes that she does and all this fake nonsense. And then they turn nasty. And for me, they lost their argument, Dave, because they were bullying. And I think
Oh yeah.
Katie was completely right what she did. And the way she handled it with Sarah, I thought was brilliant. However, I do want to talk about that in a minute, but I do think that Katie came out great with Victoria and Anna, pair of bitches, I thought.
Yeah, I think Anna in particular shows her resting bitch face, doesn't she? She looks like a
Yeah.
grumpy fish. When you see those fishes with the like upside down smile,
Yeah.
properly like everyone in this room is knowing of my disapproval.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
those. I agree. I thought it was bullying. And so just because I think Sarah's in the wrong as well doesn't necessarily put all the bullies in the right. I thought they were a bit out of order. It did sort of remind me of Friends, though, when Chandler's speech goes down like a fart in a spacesuit. And then, people
Yeah.
were saying after, they were like, well, I was laughing. And he's like, out loud? Katie didn't actually say anything when the bullying was going on. I think if I put myself in that position, I think, it's a group of blokes. I think I'm piping up and saying, all right, come on, lay off a bit now.
Yeah.
Whereas she
Yeah.
just sort of sat silently and chose after to go and have a word. So
And yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
giving it again. I think Katie's the winner of the episode. I think she comes across the best for sure, but I'm not 100% that she did everything perfectly there.
No, and you know what it reminded me of, Dave? Something similar happened to me a few years ago. Was we had a situation at work with a friend of mine. That's a good friend of mine now, but he basically was just completely shit stirring it with two or three of the lads. You know, like they do, kiss arsing and all that stuff. So I work with mainly men at my place. We're all engineers, big, maintenance guys and all that. We all, some of them, Dave, are massive, like bigger than me, with rugby players and everything. So they're all like tough guys. Basically, if they have an argument, Dave, it's a punch up most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily, I've never been on the wrong end of half of them because I think I'd be getting wiped the floor with them. But they're lovely. Some of them are top guys. And this lad just was stirring loads of trouble. And one of the lads went, I've had enough. I think we need to have a chat with him. And I'm like, no. We can't do it as 3 or 4 of us together. Just have a word with him on
Yeah.
your own. And this lad who wanted to have a word with him wanted a bit of backup, bit of someone there, not to have a fight, but just have a bit of a disagreement with him and to thrash it out, just get it out in the air, and that's the end of it. And that's how I deal with stuff. If I had an argument, once it's done, as far as I'm concerned, it's done, hopefully, and that's the end of it. But anyway, this guy was like, no, we need to. And I was like, no, this is not, no, because even though he's in the wrong, like what Sarah's doing, and he's been a complete see you next Tuesday, and he was being a right horrible little bastard. I said, it's not the right thing to do because it'll come across to anybody from the outside is that 4 guys have just had a pop at one guy on his own. And it looks like a bullying. And I said, and I'm not in that. I don't buy into that. There's one day I'm sat there having a brew. This guy walks in who's shit stirring it. Everyone's mate. You all right, mate? And everything. This guy pipes up. We want to have a word with you. And I was like, oh my God. And you know, when your legs go and you're like, this is not going to end well. And I turned around and went, look, this isn't the time. Just leave it, guys. It was only about 3 or 4 years ago. And he started, we're not happy. You've been shit stirring and you've done this. And I'm like, and I knew, and I turned around and went, look, I'll speak to you outside on my own. And he went, oh, you're not going to hit me. I went, no, me heck. I said, but this isn't what did he do?
Depends how the conversation goes.
Well, yeah. But what did he do, Dave? Straight to the boss. 4 of them have just had a go at me in there. And I didn't, and the other 2 lads didn't say a word. But this guy was like the ringleader of it. And I turned around and said, actually, I told you because I don't agree with what was going on here. You were wrong, and you know you're wrong. And anyway, it got sorted out. But that's what a similarity in my life. It reminded me so much of that. It was like, you lose the argument when you do that. Safety in numbers, you've got 10 women sniping and stuff against one. They're always going to go with the minority, Dave, because even though I think Sarah's horrible and just a blag merchant, they were just out of order, full stop there. So, so sorry to go on a segue, but it very much...
It's all right. It reminded me more of Airplane, you know, when the girl like sort of starts to lose it a bit. It's like, oh, hold yourself together, and gets a bit of a slap, and then you've got this whole queue of people like waiting to beat her up.
My knuckle dusters. I just on a dead serious fucking story, and you just I thought you meant when that Rex Kramer comes and starts chinning all the charity workers, all the religious guys.
No, that would be Victoria if she ends up on the rough end of it. So.
No, Dave, I'm going to put this to you about fucking hell, good old Sarah again. So Katie speaks to her. We're going to have a chat. I've got to go, right? She's talking about her old man being seriously ill, and we had this whole story, right? I'm sorry, Dave. There's no fucking way you would be on a reality show. If your parent, one of your parents has got weeks to live, and I know she said, he told me to go and be happy. Bullshit. She is not fucking bothered about what's going on in the outside world. This was utter nonsense. You would never use your parents like that, would you? I know they're a different breed, reality people, and they have to have a sob story like the X Factor and fucking Britain and America's Got Talent. There's got to be something. You know, my dog's got 3 legs and I fucking, you know, I can't walk him. I can't take him for a walk every day. And, you know, we always talk about this. I'm not buying that. And what I found ridiculous was Katie delivered a perfect speech, and then Sarah goes straight into fucking Matt goes, they're being mean to me, all them girls. And I'm like, oh, you are just a dick. You know, completely. I bought what she said to Katie and thought she's going to go in, speak to him. That's the end of it. When she started talking like that, I was like, oh, you are just not. And she was not wrong what she said, but it's like, you're not going in there for that. You're going in there because your dad. Remember your dad? You were telling us about a minute ago. He's not got long to live. I just find all that fake, Dave. I'm sorry, I do.
There is something that doesn't ring true about it, or again, just authentic. Because, like you said, I mean, it's not that she doesn't care. She's prioritised coming on this fucking show, right, for a slice of fame and Instagram followers. That's the long and short of it. You know, she's gone in to compete with 31 other girls for the same bloke. It is a odd situation, isn't it? In real life, it's not. There are much, much easier ways to actually find love than to go on, right? If it was the other way around, and she was the Bachelorette and she had 32 guys to choose from, you could believe it then, couldn't you? You know, because out of these 32 guys, you know, I might actually have a real deep connection with one of them. But basically, you go on, you're competing for this one bloke. Fuck off that it's all about love. Don't believe it, right?
Yeah,
So you've deprived yourself of this time with your dad to go on a reality show. And I think it is one of those where she's putting it out there to just get a bit of sympathy. I think, if that is the real reason, what are you even hanging around for?
yeah,
Get your bags packed. As soon as you have that thought and just think, no, you know what? This fake ass world that we're seeing here, I don't want to be part of it. And you know what? I can always come on The Bachelor again. It's not as
yes,
if there aren't other seasons. It's not as if there aren't other bachelors.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm not buying it at all. And I think they what spotted tonight as well. And I'm sure we'll get into a deeper discussion about when she does actually go. But I thought the continuity of her crying was quite interesting. Not to be a cold ass bastard, but it's one of my pet hates, isn't it? With all of these reality shows, that when we get the crying, and then you can just see that there's no actual tears. You just get the, the actions,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
their eyes are bone dry. I still say Molly May in season 5 UK Love Island was the worst because everyone was like, "Oh, it's amazing! Oh, she was so happy, tears of joy and everything." I'm like, "What fucking tears?" You know? And at times, I did spot a bit of moisture in Sarah's eyes, but to be honest, the most tears I think I saw was Katie when Sarah was telling her about her dad. And
yeah, because
Katie
she's
was
lost
the
her
one
dad.
who was properly upset by that. You saw proper tears. And then, she was trying to tell about, well, her dad had passed away. And you could see her voice is sort of breaking a little bit. Again, that's another tell, isn't it? When you're actually crying, your voice kind of wobbles a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so again, I'm not saying her dad's situation is made up. I'm sure it's absolutely true, but the way she's using it, there's something not authentic about that.
No, there isn't. And I'm going to make a Mystic Chris prediction, Dave. Now, you know, I usually have a 1 in 100 chance of actually getting one correct. So, what I would say, Dave, is that she's coming back. She is going to make a fucking return like a pissing
She's going to
boomerang.
do a
She's
Bennett and
coming
come
back at
back.
some point in this series. We're going to get, as you've just said, Dave, a Bennett. She is definitely going to come back, and she's. We will not hear the end of Sarah. And honestly, that is a narrative that the Bachelor producers are peddling for us here. I'm sorry to say it, but I just don't believe that we've seen the end of her.
I mean, let's pretend for a second there is a bubble and it's not fake, because you had like Ashley I think was in earlier, wasn't she, in the whole erotic fiction group date? Um, but in this situation, in this pandemic, if you're gone, you should be gone. And the fact that we saw this happen on the last season as well, the Bachelorette season, I'll be really, really disappointed if we see Sarah again. Fucking hell, I was
Yeah,
going to say Claire then. You're right, we're
I know.
obsessed with Claire and
We're
Dale.
obsessed with Claire, aren't we? Unless Claire comes in now, she's fucking split up with Dale and says,
Oh,
"Hello,
man.
everyone. Welcome back. I'm here."
You know what? That would be so good. In fact, if,
Oh,
if the rumours are true, Chris, they'll both be on fucking Bachelor in Paradise, won't they?
oh my god! I tell you what, it's not even far from reality, though, is it, Dave? Let's be honest. With all the stuff that's going on, I could just imagine Claire turning up, couldn't you? It's fucking nonsense. It really
Ta-da!
is.
That would be awesome, actually. I think I'd kind of love that in a weird way. But
Oh, amazing,
yeah, I think.
amazing.
But what do you reckon of the actual exit? Because again, the way all the girls are sat around, and it's very convenient for the camera. Obviously, they're sat in a three, not in a square, but in three sides of the square, so that you can get the camera angles on everyone. And
Yeah,
they're ultimately they're saying like, oh, where is Claire? She should come down and face the music. Like I say, that's where we got the whole bullying thing. That's where we got the Katie discussion. But then Sarah actually does decide, she's gonna go and have this. She's going to leave. She's going to go, and decides to go and have the chat with Matt. Where again, Chris, we see her knocking on the door. We see the camera on the outside. We open the door. We see the camera on the inside.
Yeah, I thought the same.
I
I
can't
thought,
unsee that now.
surprised him. Yeah, I know. I've surprised him. No, you fucking haven't. You've gone
It's
1, 2, 3.
completely
Take
spur of the
1.
moment thing. Yeah, Matt's totally not expecting it with the camera crew all set up in there and the lighting. It's just completely spontaneous.
I'm such a bastard, aren't I, Dave? I've completely ruined it. It's the first thing I noticed. I was like, I'm sure, Matt. Yeah, okay, Pinocchio. Yeah, you carry on telling us that.
But yeah, I mean, again, I didn't take any notes from this bit because we kind of saw all she had to say earlier on in the episode. But I mean, what do you make of that? Do you think? I mean, Matt's saying all the right things. You know, he's saying that he's got this connection and whatever with her, and he'll be sorry to see her go, but
Dave,
not
Dave,
that
he's saying
sorry.
everything. Saying everything the producers need him to say. Come on.
Yeah, but I thought, like I say, in the episode, I did spot some moisture around the eyes. I do think there was some genuine tears. Whether that was to do with the situation, you know, whether it was to do with their dad, whatever it was, I do think there were some kind of tears. Maybe it was just through being picked on by a fucking group of girls. But I tell you what, in that ride, in the shot at the end, that's when we saw like an apparent real breakdown. Like the body was shaking and everything. But again, Chris, her eyes were bone fucking dry in that fucking car. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen it.
I
Dave,
just thought
how
that
many
was
takes?
the worst bit of it because, yeah, like you say, how many takes is that? Maybe she's just got nothing left, and they're like, okay, take 26, right? Give us some more emotion this time.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it was that. That was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I agree, Dave. I do agree. Now, Dave, let's move on. We've had an amazing email actually from our
Don't
good
don't
friend
want to
Jen.
mention about Serena P's date at all.
No, not really. Yeah, of course you do, Dave. Of
Well,
course you do.
let's face it, it wasn't very. They had the whole horse riding thing, then they, had a bit of a chat, interrupted by a few donkeys. Um, I mean, do you really? Do you see anything between him and Serena P?
Not really, Dave. I did like his line where he said, "We had animals. There's kids waiting for him to say we lived on a farm." And he went, "I had a turtle."
Yeah,
He's got donkeys round him, but no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think again, aesthetically, I think they look good together. Beautiful, beautiful couple they'd make.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, I didn't really see any chemistry between them. So
Yeah, no, I didn't. Sorry about that. I didn't realise
no,
that.
it's all
I'd
right. So
skipped there. Apologies,
we
everyone.
had an email.
Yes, we did. Sorry, our good friend Jen, who's emailed before, she's sent us another one, Dave. So she's put, "Hey guys," sorry, she sent us a review which you read out a few weeks ago, Dave. So apologies. This is her first email, so thank you, Jen. Hey guys, absolutely love your podcast. You read my review, Joe, and your Bachelor recap. I'm the one who watched seasons 2 to 5 of UK Love Island, all 201 episodes. Now that is some going, Dave. During COVID lockdown, we've now added season 1 of Love Island Australia to that list. Chris, your Where Are They Now episode was insane. Oh, thank you very much, Jen. I do appreciate that. Which leads to my question. We haven't watched season 1 or 6 of Love Island UK or season 2 of Love Island Australia. I've got the impression that these seasons aren't that great. Are any of these worth watching? So just before I carry on reading it, I've watched every UK Love Island. The first Love Island season 1 is quite interesting because you've got, I think we've said this, that like the smoking, it's not as produced as well as the later. Season 2 is one of the best. Season 2 and 3 of Love Island UK are without doubt the best ones in my opinion, which you've never seen, Dave, to be honest.
No.
We will have to retcon then at some point. Season 6 is the one that that's the one in, isn't that, you came in season 5, didn't you?
Yeah,
So I
that
think,
was Amber and
yeah,
Greg
and so
and Michael.
season 6, the winter one that's just been last year. I think it's
Yeah,
in South Africa. So it wasn't a bad one, that though, was it? To be fair,
it was all right. I don't think it was quite peak. Season 5 was a good one, to be fair, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a good one. And the second season of Love Island Australia, you've got to watch it anyway for what's he called? A fake Liam
Ewan.
Neeson wannabe, Dave. Ewan from
No, no,
Ireland. Oh my
I think it's
God.
Owen, isn't it?
Owen,
Yeah,
Owen.
yeah,
Oh my God.
sort of the Irish
Unbelievable.
spelling.
Yeah, there was some proper shenanigans going on there. So that's definitely worth a watch, season 2. I did build it up to Dave, though, that the Aussie one was the best. And luckily, we went back and watched season 1 and recorded again. And that is by far the better season. But it's definitely watchable, Jem. Anyway, and now for my suggestion. Now, Dave, you're going to have to step in on this. The new season of one of the world's greatest, trashiest reality shows is starting next month. And I am positive it's right up your alley. Are you familiar, David, with Temptation Island?
Oh, Chris, I love it.
I do. I think it's my favourite. I love it. Absolutely love Temptation Island. Well, Love Island's still my number one, actually. I'm sorry to my Love Island people out there. That's still my favorite. But the Temptation Island is brilliant, isn't it, Dave?
So I don't know if you remember, it took me a while to kind of. I think you need to be properly geared up for it because the level of cheating in that is just unbelievable. I mean, it's like Love Island, but it's like, well, sod all the love stuff. Let's just get these really hot people and try and tempt them, and that you've got these couples and then they're separated out, and then you've got all these singletons coming in trying to lure them away. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. And yeah, so I ended up binging it as well, the first couple of seasons, and I do love it. And I was so excited when I saw that season 3 was on. Usually, Chris, when we get to the end of any kind of season, I'm like, oh, that's it, I'm done. I'm knackered. Um, and especially, do you remember when we were doing the two concurrent Love Islands? We were doing the UK one and the
Oh,
US
God,
one at
yeah.
the same time. By God, that
Yeah.
was grueling. And we were both, especially by the end, we were like, oh, you know what? Let's never do two concurrent seasons again, Chris. This time it was me. I'm
We
like,
are. We are.
we have got to cover this because it is just so good. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be daily, weekly, whatever it is. Hopefully, it's weekly. Uh,
Yeah, weekly, Dave, please,
yeah.
for the love of God, be weekly.
Oh, Chris, I can't wait. I mean, I
Oh, it's
really,
amazing.
again, this Bachelor thing, it's interesting, I think, and the whole level of fake and the production of it is quite interesting to look at. But in terms of pure like cheeseburger junk food, you can't get better than Temptation Island.
No, you can't. You can't. And the pinnacle of Temptation Island for me was in season 1. I think was that guy who was a model, and he had pretty much had a threesome with 2 girls, and then blamed it on his girlfriend because he cheated on her numerous times, and they're still together.
That was
In
crazy
the
in the
That was
reunion.
unbelievable, and it is like Love Island, but with the actual a bit of an R rating pushed up. Dave, we're going up a little bit because you do see stuff in the last series of Temptation Island. There was a couple there, dead solid, been together forever. The girl cheats with this absolute player who tells her all the stuff she wants to hear, sleeps with her, bins her off, didn't he? And then he fucked off, like, see ya. And they end up getting back together. But oh, Dave, it was like hands over your eyes watching it. You were like, oh my God, has this just happened? Because what they do then is the editors are not daft. They edit the clips of the
That's
partners
the best
on a
bit.
fucking tablet on the tablet, so they sit them together separately, and they're not. The men are on one side of the villa or wherever they're staying, and the girls on the other, and they show little snippets, and it could be something innocent. They're playing a game, but it looks like they're locking lips or they're doing something, and that's where they go, "Fuck that, right? I'm getting it with her, or I'm getting on with him." Oh, it's a proper great show. If it works out like the other two, it's going to be dynamite, and that comes on quite soon, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we watched recently where it was similar to that. Where it was Singletown,
Singletown, yeah,
but
Singletown,
but
yeah.
they were quite they were quite tame, weren't they, in terms of what
Yeah.
they actually showed that their partner was getting up to. The thing I love about Temptation Island, you can play it absolutely straight down the middle for 99% of the week, and you can do absolutely nothing. You can just distance yourself from the group, and then they'll catch you in that particular moment. Like you say, maybe it's a game or something, and you're locking licks with someone, and then the other person, the partner, just gets to see that little clip. No context, no nothing. They've got to make their own mind up about what they're seeing, and that's the bit that I like because there's no false pretense about, what are they trying to do here? They are trying to stir the pot massively, and it's just brilliant. And I think was it the second season where you had that guy? He was kind of Auburn, gingery Auburn guy with
Yeah,
a beard.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
was obviously like the dominant one in the relationship, and he was saying to the other girls in there, "Oh, well, I'm not really bothered. We're kind of together, but not really." And and that obviously went back, and then the girl ends up taking that and thinking, right, well, fuck this then. By the end of
Yeah,
the season, though, he's
yeah.
like a blubbering mess, and he's on his knees, like begging
Oh.
to take her back. Oh, Chris, it is such car crash TV. But I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, because in the first series, you had that couple where the girl had some serious issues, and every time he kept cheating on her all the time, and every time, and she was, I think she might have cheated on him in the villa, she was getting close to someone, and he was doing the same, but apparently he treated her really bad. His dad. Was it his dad had committed suicide? So he was always wary of getting a relationship. And this girl, and I'm paraphrasing, she used to basically say, if we stay, if you don't, if we split up, I'm going to basically do some harm to myself. So he stayed with her, but he kept cheating on her because he wanted out of the relationship. And then he got with that other girl, didn't he? And they were together. I think they've got a kid and everything, Dave. That was the first season. Do you remember?
First season, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she dyed her hair from blonde to brown, and oh, he was fucking. And I'm paraphrasing there, so apologies, but I'm pretty sure that he's had a kid now with the girl he got with on the actual show, and they really, really loved up. But yeah, it was fucking bizarre. I couldn't believe they'd even let that sort of thing air, Dave. But what fucking TV, unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is great. I'm tempted to binge the first two seasons before
Now we've said that, I think we might need to, Dave. We'll have to get in because Jen carries on, and I know we both. She's just put to the pretense for everyone else out there, guys. I know we and Dave have skirted over. She just put the Temptation. It's four couples go to Temptation Island where the boys and girls are split into separate villas. The girls meet the tempters while the boys meet the temptresses. And the whole show is about whether or not they'll cheat on each other. 3 seasons came out in the early 2000s and they were fine. But the season recently got rebooted, and season 2 of the new series, which aired last year, might be one of my all-time best series of a trashy reality show. Season 3 premieres, I put this in your diary, everyone, February the 16th. It's literally in my calendar because I cannot wait. It's on the USA Network. I'm not sure if you can get that or if it's happened in the UK, but you can get old seasons on Amazon or Apple. And she sent us a link for season 3 preview. Well, we can get it over here, Dave, can't we? So that's
Yeah.
good. So we will definitely be reviewing it, Jen. Don't you worry. You would make my year if you would watch and recap this dumpster fire. It truly is something to behold. Thanks for all the entertainment. Loving your coverage of The Bachelor. Queen Victoria is the worst. She put best wishes, Jen, North Carolina, USA. What a lovely place that is as well. And then she's put P.S. We need to put a bit of context on this. P.S. Is it just a coincidence that your email, CD Reality Cast, actually sounds like CD Reality Cast? Well, let's have a little chat. We have mentioned this before, Jen, but we'll talk about this. I don't think we've really gone in depth. So originally, the podcast, because we do other podcasts, we have the VHS Strikes Back and Comics in Motion, and we review TVs and movies and different things that are based in comic books and Comics in Motion. The VHS is about old movies, and me and Dave go back and forth with terrible movies. So we both stitch each other up, or amazing blockbusters like E.T., Back to the Future, things like that. And we just decided after when Dave rang me and said, let's do a reality show. I've been asking him to do one for ages. He knows I love everything reality TV. I always go on about it. And we're currently watching, actually, one called The Cabins in the UK, which is utter shit, Dave. I've got to say. It's almost like Singletown, but really bad. And we'll talk about that in a sec. So we were called originally the Love Island cast because we were only going to cover Love Island. And we started off doing, I know you said this the other week, Dave, we were going to do one show a week of Love Island, a recap. It ended up that we did every other day. Then it went to every single episode after that guy kicked that girl in her fairy day, shall we say.
Sharif. Yeah.
Sharif kicked one of the girls in her nether regions, and it was all over the news in the UK. So we were like, we've got to get on. And that spawned this podcast, but we were called the Love Island cast originally. But then obviously as Love Island finished and more people started to enjoy what we do and talk to us and email us, we knew we had to do more reality stuff. So we felt a bit cheated doing other shows, but still called the Love Island cast. So we changed it. My name, Chris and Dave. It could have been DC Dave, really. I suppose Dave and Chris. But we went alphabetically Chris and Dave's reality cast. And then we born the email address. And I think you actually said to me, it sounds like CD reality cast.
It was after about 3 episodes of rattling off the email. It's like, that does sound like CD.
It's quite apt for what we review, but it was a completely unintentional name. So, Jen, it's just something we stumbled on over. But watching all this shit, it's definitely seedy sometimes. Dave.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. Oh, amazing. So, yeah, so thank you for sending that in, Jen. Amazing email. Amazing.
No, it is good. Really appreciate that. And yeah, like I say, we've run a bit long today, haven't we? But probably spent about 10 minutes on Temptation Island. But yeah, can highly recommend that one if you can get it. So, Chris, thank you very much, sir. It was good to unload a little bit, because that was a bit more drama filled this episode, wasn't it? It's nothing like Claire's season, is it? I think by about episode 3, that was when the whole Yosef thing kicked off.
Yes,
So not quite to those levels, but just we knew on The Bachelor it'd be a little bit different. Obviously, the dynamic of all the girls being in there. I know the the producers want the villain in the house, and for the drama, I guess there's a small part of me that does want to keep Victoria in there, but I do want to see her gone, to be honest. And I will give a shout out as well, because Lauren's been on to us to watch Unreal, which is like a kind of almost like a parody of The Bachelor. And so I started to watch that, and it's all about the producers and how they manipulate the Bachelor and also the women and the situations and everything like that. But watch 2 episodes of that, can highly recommend it. It just resonates so much with what we're seeing. So yeah, that's another one on the to watch list.
Oh, good stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you, Dave. As always, great episode. Thanks again, Jen, and everyone who tunes in. We really appreciate you listening in and enjoying the show. If you want to contact us at CD and C and a D realitycast at gmail.com, on social media at CD realitycast. Get over there, guys. Get your reviews in if you can on the show and your podcast catching up. And any questions, anything you agree or disagree with, it's not a problem. We always read them out, good, bad, and the ugly. We don't hide anything from you. We just love doing this, so thank you so much. So yeah, Dave, thanks again, mate, and we'll see you next week.
And bye now.